Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be replacing the OEM third brake light. This one works perfectly fine, but it is the kind of those yellowish light bulbs, not LED. Everything else in the back of the truck, like these side lights, are LEDs. Just trying to move everything to LED here, and found something on Amazon that I'm hoping works well. Saw the reviews, works on the third gen even though it's designed for the second gen, and so hopefully this install will go pretty smoothly. This part's just to show the brightness of the OEM lights on the bed of the Frontier. They are nice and bright, and you can see they light up the bed well, but they are that yellow halogen color, and so I'm hoping with the installation of this new third brake light, it'll be a little bit more white to match the side bed lights. For this install, you're going to need a pry tool to just pry out the little caps in the roof or the ceiling in the back seat. I would recommend using a small screwdriver just to help maybe disconnect some of the electrical connections, but you don't have to have this. Definitely need a socket. You will need a 10 millimeter deep well, just because of the length of the bolt that's holding in the light. But this 10 millimeter will be to get the OEM nuts out. Then the kit that I bought, you may find something different, but the kit that I bought actually used different size bolts on the kit, and so I had to go get different size nuts. So you will need I need an 8 millimeter socket, but it was an M5 0.8 nut, so a very small nut. And because it's small, I went ahead and got some washers that are a little bigger than what the nut require, but I just want to make sure that that's holding in place. I don't want my third brake light flying out the back. The original OEM nuts are flange nuts, and since these are not, I had to use a little bit of electrical tape to tape the washer onto my socket while I had to push it up through the roof and tighten down. You'll see that. All right, let's get started on this install. I'll put a link to this in the comments or in the description. When you first open it up, it comes with two different electrical kind of pigtailed adapters. Also has, this must be like a weather sealant, kind of a rubber sealant to put underneath it. Comes with these two little pieces. And a picture diagram for installing. Comes nicely bubble wrapped. And so there were two different versions of this. There was kind of this darker smoke side of it, or the front of it, and then it also came with a red tinted version, and I got the smoke version. So this will be the top. This is what will shine out back towards the bed. Should already be two holes in the top of the truck to put these down in, and then your electrical cable, and then I'm assuming depending on which type of plug we need, we'll use one of these. Okay, in your back seat on the roof liner, you've got these two plastic caps. You'll just use a pry tool to snap these out. They fall out pretty easily. Once you have the cap off, if you look up in there, you'll see a nut and bolt that you'll need to undo. Okay, after you remove those two 10 millimeter nuts, this may be a little sticky because there's some adhesive under here, but you should be able to just wiggle a little bit and pull this up. Set this down for now. Got you a little closer here. Over here there's going to be a little gray zip tie that you'll need to punch out right here. So just use a little screwdriver, and then do your best to disconnect the electrical connection here. So I've got a little screwdriver, I've got a couple of different size pliers I'm going to try to use, but it's a pretty standard connection. You just need to depress that side there and it should pull out. But again, you're kind of working in tight quarters, so maybe having a small pair of hands or a couple of smaller tools to try to just again try to press that down to pull it out. Okay, it took me a few minutes. It was not the easiest space to work in. A fairly simple connection. You just have to get enough pressure to pull it out. Got that now. I'm gonna go get the new light, work on getting the wiring. All right, this came with two different outlets or connections. This bigger one is the one we want to go with. Before I get back out there and install this, I'm going to put kind of this adhesive seal on here. You can see with the other one, there was some adhesive just around the edges. I think that just kind of helps with kind of a watertight seal. And so because these are just OEM bulbs, not non-LED bulbs, they needed all this space so you could be able to change these out later. Won't need to do that with this LED kit. And so there's no need for all this accessibility back here. So I'm just going to remove this backing, kind of punch out these already perforated holes. And then this should, yep, line up perfect. Then now I'm just going to line up these colors. I'm going to go black for black. Go red for red. Then green for white. So again, here we had black and black, red, red, and then we had a white here, so we'll connect the green there. Let's go get this connected. Okay, again, just like the hardest part getting it out was the connection. Getting that connection done again is pretty tough just because you're working in such a small space in there, but we've got it connected. We just need to take off these rubber ends. Tuck that wiring there. And then that's sitting in there nicely. And then we're just going to go back in there and bolt those down. So I had to do some trial and error to get these washers, or this one washer and this nut on. Again, the original 10 millimeter is a flanged nut, so it has that nice washer there that fills in the gap between the roof and the bolt. I'm just afraid the hole that the light kit has to go through is a little big, and so this I'm just afraid this nut is not going to securely hold it, so I'm adding this washer. I think the best way to do this is actually get a piece of like electrical tape. So what I do is put the nut down into the socket and then set the washer on top, and then put a piece of electrical tape just around that or on top. And then when I put the socket up in the hole like so, the washer is just resting on top of that socket with the tape, and then when I start to bolt it on, then the tape kind of releases just from the motion of that socket. I'll give you a side-by-side of the different looks of the light once it gets darker, but just for now you can just see the difference in what it looks like during the daytime. That smoke colors just makes it very dark. If you remember that light, that OEM third brake light's very red and then too white on the back, and this just makes it dark across. I haven't darkened or blacked out my taillights. I don't know that I will, but this just, I think, looks cleaner here across my all black truck here. I'm just going to give you a look at what the lights look like now. Here is the white lights that will light up the bed of the truck. And then I'm going to tap on the brake lights so you can just see what it looks like with those white lights on. And here's what the brake light looks just by itself without those white lights on. Alright, it is a little bit darker now, not as dark as my first before video to show the OEM light, but it is starting to rain and I'm afraid to wait any longer. So this is what the white lights look like. So as you can see, much brighter, much wider. I would say the bed is well lit, and so I'm happy with this install. I like this more, the whole kit being LED, than replacing just the bulbs in the OEM kit. Plus those LED bulbs from like Last Fit can be pretty expensive. And this was relatively cheap on Amazon, so hopefully it lasts a long time. If not, it was only 25, 30 bucks. And not a terrible install. So if you found this beneficial, please feel free to like and subscribe and leave a comment. I'm pretty good about getting back and answering any questions. Till next time.